All right, go ahead.
All right. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know what I did though, but I think I muted everybody by accident.
No, that's fine.
Oh. So
No
welcome
problem.
everybody to tonight's call, and we're going to be talking about
Um, Following up with people and taking lead of your team. But let me see who's on the call. We got a couple few. Oh, we have a nice little turnout for the call. So let's take a minute to welcome everybody and to commend everyone on the month so far. We're having a pretty good month ourselves. I know everyone else has been working very, very hard, and so we're going to give you guys a little bit more tools to work with and talk about following up with people, why it's so important. Give you some pointers on how you can follow up with people. What is the best method? What are some of the things to say, and what is your ultimate goal when it comes to following up? But before we get started with that information, let's start with our oil of the evening. Tonight's oil that we're going to use is abundance. So everyone take a drop if you have abundance and put it on. I know this is one of Dana and I's favorites because people are automatically drawn to it. So we want to gather as many people and have them drawn in with abundance.
yeah, everybody put abundance on your ER this month.
If you if you don't have abundance, grab any one of your favorite oil and put that on. Remember, we want to stay oily as we enjoy ourselves. I'm going to adjust this just very slightly. But yeah, so let's get started. Let's talk about following up and why that's so important. Um, I was listening to one of the leaders that we follow, and she was saying that if you've ever signed somebody up or if you've ever shared anything about oils with anyone, then you have an obligation, right? Your obligation is to follow up with them. So that's whether you've shown them some information, they've been to a class, maybe you've shared an oil with them. You have an obligation to see that through. Because how many times, and people have done it probably, I know people have done it to me, but how many times have someone probably done it to you where they've given you a little tidbit of something and then not followed through and you've kind of been lost in the lurch or left in the lurch, so to speak, and you don't really know what is the next step. So I wanted to take a second to kind of talk about um, what is the best method for follow up, and let's talk about why that's so important. Because in this business, network marketing, there's a reason why there's a saying that says fortune is in the follow up. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it and even experienced it when we first started network marketing years ago, where people have signed up with other individuals, and it's just because we didn't do the follow up. We might have done the legwork of, piquing their interest, inviting them to some type of business meeting or class, and then maybe we got caught up with something else or just didn't have the courage at that time to follow up the individual, and come to find out they signed up with somebody else, and it's all because we didn't follow up.
And sometimes too, you got to think time. Like, so it's so important that we are shortening the time of introducing them repeatedly to the business. And that's important too, because sometimes you might have introduced it to them and then you don't follow up until next month or 3 months from now. And you have to start all over. They're like, wait, what are you talking about again? Like, I don't even remember our initial interaction. Who are you? Like, so you have to go through this whole cycle again. So if you can lessen those exposures and make sure that they come closer in contact, it's going to be easier with that follow up.
Yeah, and I think of, I mean, sometimes we get all excited and we think because we share information with individuals, like we share about the oils, and they're all excited that individuals are going to go home and they're going to order a kit and then they're going to go on to build the successful business. But we haven't given them any of the tools to do that. And so follow up is so important because we have to show them how do they go about getting their kit, like how do they order it, whose member ID do they put in, how do they get on Essential Rewards, and how will they know any of that information if we never share it with them? And so I thought it was very interesting because as I was listening to the coaching session, They were talking about, sometimes people don't respond. They might avoid your phone call or they may not email you back. It's just the society that we live in. For some reason, it's become socially acceptable not to return a phone call, not to return a text message or email. But most people do text message. I know I'm a huge texter. You probably are as well, right? And most people on this call probably are huge texters. So a text message is a great way to follow up with individuals because they're at least going to see it. As long as they get your message, they're going to see it. I know that some people do still use email. I'm not huge with email. I'm like one of those people that have like
Right.
1,000
But
emails.
most people in general, they're not going to actively check their email the way they would like a text message or a phone call. And even if you're not necessarily a phone call person, it still makes so much more of a difference when someone has actually called you and then maybe text you a message, whatever it might be. So never think that actually you physically calling people is not important anymore because it's so rare. People value that, and there's a lot of people that they can look at your text message and they're like, not that important. But you can really feel a person's heart. You can feel what they're trying to say when you actually pick up the phone and physically talk to them.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on that because those things kind of go hand in hand. Usually, if you send a text message, if they don't respond, follow up with a call. And that call then becomes, hey, I'm just checking to see if you got my message. Oh, no, I didn't get your message. What message? Oh, I sent you a message following up to see how you enjoyed the class that you attended. Or if they've already got a kit, how are you enjoying your oils? So that way, you're kind of covering all your bases. And even if they don't respond, you still have done your follow-up. And the key to this business is staying consistent with things like that. So we want to make sure that we're walking them through the system. We're exposing them to our product, we're exposing them to the business, but we're also making sure that we follow up so that all your hard work can pay off. So very, very important. That's the main reason we want to do that. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to that or no?
Well, I was going to add to just about if you are looking for like a sales position, like Young Living might not be the business for you. We have to remember first, it's about relationships. This is a relationship building business. So, although it might be hard to be reaching out for these relationships, it is crucially important that you actually have relationships with these people. People can sense when it's like, the only time she texts me is if there's a promotion. The only time she calls me is if it's Young Living, Young Living, Young Living. You have to, especially if these are people you've personally enrolled, more than likely you know them. So take personal interest in people. One thing that I appreciated that they were talking about is, your first phone call, you don't mention oils whatsoever. And even if it's somebody that maybe you signed up online or something like that, or let's say it's somebody in your downline, like, and you're calling them, and I think she had said something about like it might be something like, oh, I was just scrolling on your page and I noticed you love horses. Like, I've never ridden a horse before. Tell me more about that, right? Because people like talking about themselves. Like, but if you always come in speaking and following up with an agenda, then that could be a reason why there's not community on your team. There could be a reason why people are having a hard time connecting those relationships. So when we're talking about following up, we can be following up with prospects. We can be following up with people on our team. Especially like Anthony had mentioned, if we personally enroll them, those are your babies. You got to take care of those people, right? So you want to make sure that you're in constant communication with them.
Yeah. And so briefly to add to that before we move on to how to do it, but you're following up whether you shared something with an individual. If they've signed up with a premium starter kit, the goal is to ultimately get them onto Essential Rewards, right? So you still need to follow up and see if they've started using their oils. I can't tell you how many times individuals may not have even opened their package and it's been sitting there. And if we would have taken 5 minutes just to call them and see if they got their package, see how they're enjoying their oils, they would remember and have gone over there and opened them, started using them. So it's very important just to kind of, like Dana mentioned, they're your babies. And so you have to kind of baby them at first until they get rolling on their own. And that's only possible to do by following up. So to switch gears a little bit, I do want to talk about how do you follow up with an individual, because I know that closing is usually not most people's strong point, which is why following up is so scary to many people, but it doesn't have to be. I've learned through my years to ask two simple questions, and this bypasses all types of negativity. It bypasses any type of negative response that a person may give. The first question I ask when I follow up to an exposure that I've done is, what did you like most about what you saw? And I allow them to respond. And the reason I phrase it that way is because I'm not asking you, did you like it? Or did you like this oil? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you, what did you like most? If you came to a class, what did you like most about the class? Or what did you enjoy? What did you learn from the class? Even if they say something negative, you could say, that's okay, I get that, but what did you like? So now I'm asking you a positive question to get a positive response and know how to tailor, how do we proceed from there? And then the second question you ask is, when do you see yourself getting started? Now, the reason you ask that question is because sometimes people don't always have the money to get started right then and there. And if they tell you 2 weeks, then okay, now you got something to work with. You write down, okay, this person says they're getting started in 2 weeks. I write that down and I follow up with them again when? In 2 weeks. Ask the same questions. Hey, I'm following up with you. I know we had talked about the oils a couple weeks ago. Do you remember anything from the class? What did you like most about the oils? Or maybe you even sent them home with a sample. How did that sample work out for you? Find out how things are going in their lives. And yeah, go ahead.
And I was just going to add too, along with that, if you told them that you're going to follow up in 2 weeks, a nice leeway is, I wanted to keep my word and follow up with you in 2 weeks, like we agreed upon, or like I had said I was going to do. That way too, they can't be like, oh, I had no clue she was going to call me, or oh, like, what are you talking about? Because that's what you guys had discussed. And so then it re-triggers what you guys had talked about 2 weeks prior.
So that's very important, and that's for getting anyone started. And as many people know, that when people come to your classes or you're doing one-on-ones, not everyone's going to get enrolled. But the nice thing, and this is why a couple calls ago, or more than a few calls ago, we talked about utilizing your tools. Some of the stuff I'm actually sharing is from Vital 180. It's from the Share Guide. But I really like their follow-up script if they didn't enroll, because it goes on to say this. It says, I'm so glad that you were able to make it to the class. What did you find most fascinating, and did anything concern you? So once again, it's that same question. What did you like most about what you saw? And then it says, if the conversation is going well, proceed to which kit fits your needs the best, or based on what you've told me, and repeat what they said, the blank kit is the best choice or value for you. I can walk you through the enrollment process right now and get your kit on its way. So essentially, it's rewording it, but it's those same two questions. What did you like, or what does appeal most to that individual? And what do you see yourself getting started with, or when do you see yourself getting started? And leave the ball in their court. That way, it's on their terms. If they tell you they're not interested, you thank them for their time. You thank them for coming to your class, for being a great friend, and just realize that it's not their time right now. They don't. It's just they're not ready.
Yep. And no now is not no forever. You got to keep that in mind too. But right now, there's way too many people on this earth to be caught up over the one person, right? Yeah. So go out there, and that means let's talk to a few more.
Yeah. And so that's important to get people started. But I also think about, once a person has a kit, we're not just in the business of selling kits to people and then forgetting about them. Because like I mentioned, most people, sometimes they don't dive right in and they don't take full advantage of everything, or even, or even know everything that is available to them. So when a person gets started and they get their kit, we need to follow up with them within 7 to 10 days after their enrollment. 7 to 10 days, they should have received their kit by then. And if not, we can at least help them find out where their kit is and assist them in getting it as soon as possible. But like I mentioned, the ultimate goal is everyone should be on Essential Rewards to get started, right? Because this is about more than using the 11 oils that come in the starter kit. This is a lifestyle. And so people are going to need more information. They're going to need to know how do they get started on ER? How do they pay for their ER every month? Because if they're like Dana and I, we didn't want it coming out of our monthly budget. So we decided to do the business to pay for our oils. So all of that information, it needs to be shared with them. So we don't want to sell them a kit and then forget about them. Like Dana mentioned, we also don't want to just follow up with them when, hey, your ER didn't process. Are you going to process that this month?
You're about to go inactive. Hey.
Right. So we want to stay in constant contact with these individuals and be personally responsible for them, because we've shown them this lifestyle. We've shown them Young Living's products and how good of a company Young Living is and what it can do for them and their family. And so we're responsible for them until they come to the level that you're at and are sharing and taking on that responsibility of other individuals.
And again, remember, you might have to literally walk people step by step through every process. You might need to walk through getting them set up with their kit. Walk through, like, hold their hand those first 3 months. Like, okay, so this is what you said was going on with your health. So you're going to use the oils in your premium starter kit 3 times a day, every single oil. And then to support your digestive system, let's say that's what they chose, your first month after you got your kit, these are the few items that are going to help to, again, support that system. When we're talking about systems and not talking about diseases or specific symptoms, then we're able to really allow people to feel that wellness. So we want to help them to set up a wellness regimen for them specifically. What's going on in their bodies? What's going on with their families? Do they need to detox their home? Because again, this time of year, so many people, again, have been getting sick and coming down with things or whatnot. And they're like, oh, I'm using my oils. Well, how much Ninja Red have you been drinking? Like, I don't got Ninja Red. So have you detoxed and gotten all of the, yuckies out of your home? Like, you might have to run through some of these specific things. And even us that have been using oils for years, we got to reassess some of those things. Again, what's going on in my environment? Why is my immune system not where it needs to be? Or we can fight off some of these things.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because on Vital 180, we've gone over some of the classes that they have, but I mean, most people, they lead with an intro to oils type class. But there are so much more information to share afterwards. And so how will we share that information if we don't follow up? They've got a class that's is specifically entitled, I Got My Oils, Now What? Where it walks them through things like Ningxia Red, Ningxia Nitro, some of the other oils to support different systems in their body. There's a home detox class for those who are interested in that. And so we want to make sure that we're constantly sharing that information with them, making sure they're staying plugged into the YL community. I know our Happy Oilers group is a large community, and the people that are engaged the most seem to be the most successful. So we want individuals joining that group because Young Living is about more than oils. It's health, wellness, and abundance, whatever that looks like to different individuals. So maybe they want to join and be around for the camaraderie as well. We have that, but they won't know about it unless we follow up with them and share. So very, very important that we follow up. I don't want to say stay on top of people, but keep an eye on people. Sometimes they need a little push or a little nudge.
Well, and the reality is people like to be seen regardless. Like, statistically, people leave companies because they're not appreciated, they're not noticed, and it doesn't matter about the pay. If they're not seen, if they're not appreciated for, like, even if it's something simple as, hey, I see you signed up for Essential Rewards, you're making some wellness progress in your life. That's awesome. Let's, hooray. Like, you need to see these people and communicate that with people. Or, hey, I see you just signed up somebody. Awesome. Like, can I run with you? Can I help you with this? Like, we have to really show appreciation for what people are doing and let them know that we see them.
Yeah. Really briefly before we open up the rest of the call to any individuals who would like to share, you actually made me think of something else that that she mentioned. As an upline leader, if you have someone in your downline who signs someone up, reach out to the individual that they signed up. Reach out not only to the individual who signed someone up because you do want to encourage them, but that new individual, reach out and say, "Hey, my name is Anthony. I am your upline leader with Young Living. I just wanted to reach out. I know you just got started. That's great. That's wonderful. I wanted to introduce myself, let you know who I am, let you know that I'm here to support you in your wellness journey and whatever you need, answer any questions. Here's my information, and I wanted to just personally convey that to you." It's important that we reach out further down the line as well, so that when we're having these events, or we're continuing to do rallies and stuff, when these individuals come to rallies, they know who we are. So it's very important to follow up so that we get those relationships with individuals, because that's really what it's about. So you didn't have anything else to add? We can open up the floor. All right, so let's go ahead and open up. I see we have a lot of people on the call tonight. That's wonderful. Is there anything that anyone would like to share on that topic of following up with individuals?
Oh
Julie?
my God.
Go ahead, Julie.
I just want to back you up. Number one, you used something that I haven't heard people talk about in a long time, and that's the share guide. That guide to me is really, especially for people who are a little less confident in themselves when they are talking about other products other than the oils. You know, each one of those pages has one or two, you know, like for sleep or for men who are in construction and what they might use at the end of the day. And it's just a really nice guide if some of these newer ones that I see on here haven't looked at it or seen it. Go to Vital 180 and look at that. It's very helpful issue that they made for us for getting out of and away from the oils somewhat, and making your line bigger. And you also said something about the classes. There's so many classes. I've noticed that every time I teach it, if I teach the detox class, or like I did this one down here in North Carolina, I do that one all the time too. Got my oils, now what? Every time I do a class like that, my OGV goes up because people are ordering what they're learning about. If they don't learn about anything but oils, that's all they know. And so that follow-up is really crucial. Whether you do a one-on-one class, you can download these same classes to your phone and use them. But use them. They're there, and they make a huge difference. They really do.
Yeah. Thank you, Julie, for sharing that. Tashina, it looks like you unmuted yourself. You had something you wanted to share?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what you were saying at the end about welcoming, because I definitely do that. Currently, my team is still of the size that I can do that, but every single person that comes on my team gets an email within 7 days saying, welcome to the team. And if I have a relationship with the person that signed them up, then I speak on that relationship. So I'll say, hey, welcome to the team. I'm Dana's sister. Want to let you know that I'm here anytime you can't get in touch with her or whatever. I also send a postcard to that person, and then I send a within your first year happy 6-month anniversary, and I send a happy anniversary. So for me, those are a bunch of touch points where they're gonna know that they can always come to me. And to me, that would like be awesome. Like if you started and then you got like 10 postcards from all your leaders on the team, that'll make you feel like, well, this might be something important. I should pay attention to it. Or if you get an anniversary card from like 12 people on your team, instead of maybe just hey, you haven't ordered in a while, phone call at the last minute, it'll be a reminder where people are just know that you've thought about them. And then the same thing as you guys said with the care calls. That's why we call them care calls, because we're calling because we care. We want to get to know the people. I can always improve with that, but it is important to just at least, as people go on your team, like make a certain goal to get through a certain amount of people, and definitely always regularly do your personally enrolled individuals.
Yeah, think about it this way. If everyone does They're staying in contact with the individuals that they personally enroll. I'm sure other upline leaders can attest to this. It's a lot less stressful as an upline leader, right? To know that, people who are bringing new people in are taking care of their people that they brought in. And you're going to see it as you continue to grow as well, just being personally responsible for these individuals. I really want to stress that. Julie, you had your hand up. You had something else you wanted to share? Oh, Julie, you're still muted, darling. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second, Julie.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good.
I'm sorry. I was going to say for anybody I sign up or anybody signs somebody up that I know they're probably not going to take care of them, I make sure that I always send out a welcome letter. I don't email it. I copy it off and then I sign it and I'll write a couple little doodads, of my own writing in it, and I mail it. And I also, in that letter, also tells them about, several of the different sites that are helpful to a new person, whatever. It's a welcome letter that I mail out. But you said something else. Two things that you said that has triggered in my head about a follow-up call. I always, if they take the kid home with them that night, I want them to schedule a time where I can either phone call them, and I do most of them are phone calls. But I will meet with people too to help walk them through the website. But during that time, it brings up so many other things when you're walking through the website and you're going through how to order and that kind of stuff and the resources. And it's just a good time to get to know them. They kind of open up to you and tell you, and you can hear what their problems or their issues are or what their concerns are. But I do that. If they walk out with a kit, I usually have it on a calendar when I'm going to be calling them and walking them through there. And then if they don't and they have to order the kit, I will wait. I'll call them in like 7 days and see if they've gotten the kit. And then if at that point say you should get it any day, and walk them through how to find where it's at. You know what I'm saying? But always follow up with them. If you don't, there are people that leave their kit sitting on the counter for months and never even open it. But if you call them and you get them to crack that box and open it up and go through a few of the oils and walk them through the website, that's another thing about the website. People are so afraid to go on the website. They might place an order that they didn't really want or something. So if you walk them through the website and each one of the tabs that really matter, I mean, they don't need organization tabs. But, if you go through those tabs and a few of the things, and especially the difference between ER, that's the time I bring it up. It's just really, it's nice, and you get to know them, and they feel more comfortable doing it themselves.
Yeah, because ultimately we want them to succeed, and we want them to get the most out of what they're investing in. So, if we can take a couple minutes just to show them, it's really going to be worth it. We're getting down to the last couple minutes of the calls. Does anyone have anything that they struggle with in the department of following up that maybe someone on the call or one of us can help them with?
Come on, there's a lot of newbies on this call. You guys doing all your care calling to your people? You don't find that hard the first few times you do it? You're lying.
To a certain extent, I still find it hard. So I will attest.
Yeah.
It is to get on the phone with an individual because sometimes we feel like we have our own agenda. But it's one of those things, the more that you do it, the better you're going to get at it, the easier it's going to become. It's necessary. If there was a way to build this business without doing follow-up calls and care calls, trust me, I would have found it, number one. And number two, I would be doing that instead. But it's a necessary part of this.
That's where the money is.
Yeah, that's why I say the fortune's in the call.
Because we didn't have our call last week, I have tons of recognition.
Go ahead, Tashina. We're at that part.
Okay. So the end of last month was super amazing, and last year February was my team's best month ever, and this one is already shaping up to be the best month ever. So gonna hit some record highs. The end of last month, Kate did amazing and hit a new record, and she did a lot to just encourage her team members and get a couple new stars, including growing her team in Ecuador. So that's super amazing. And then Shakita just had her first class today, so totally proud of her. And then we did some training, so she's ready to book a couple more classes so she can hit star this month. And then Megan, who is on Ashton's team as well as Kate's team, she's already got 3 signups this month. So I had a chat with her this morning. She's excited so that she can hit star this month and we can help her get to executive in 3. So a lot of good things going on in my team.
All right.
I actually thought she had 4 signups. I sent her I know she's a star. I sent her a text message last night congratulating her and telling her you only need one more for the help 5. Yeah, I haven't heard back from her, but I did send it. That's amazing. She's brand new and got 4 signups. I thought I saw 4 in Oily Tools. But either way, she's only a couple away.
And
Yep.
there you go. It's good for that recognition, so you see other people doing it. So that's excellent. We want to recognize Cindy. Cindy actually had 2 individuals that got started, so that was great too. Any other recognitions that anyone would like to give? If not recognitions, promotions of events for the rest of February. Like Tashina mentioned, February for us last year was a stellar month, and it's looking like it's going to be another stellar month as well. So what is available that people can take advantage of?
Well, we had a great spa party. Like, it was pretty awesome. So we are looking forward to doing that again. I'm trying to coordinate with the Crossline leader to possibly have it in northern Oakland County this time for the individuals that works better for. But we want to do the same exact style in March, and the weather will be better so more people can attend. But tentatively for March 17th, but I will secure that this week for sure. But the same open house style, large, may have like $10 massages this time, foot massage, hand massage, all that, and trying to make up for those that missed out on the first one. And then in 2 weeks, we will be starting our Happy Oilers Mastermind call. So get used to this being on your calendar, get your signups on this call. The whole purpose is for everyone that hits star this month, for you to have a couple individuals join you on this call, and then we take all of your individuals and you guys all the way to executive over the next 3 months. So we have everyone that's coming with us to convention is executive or above. So that's our goal, and it's to collaborate. We're going to use the framework of Vital 180 just to guide us, but we know that that is a very red-green site. It doesn't work for everyone, so we want you to bring your books that you use for your personality, your ideas, what works for you. Right, yeah, that's a blue book right there. So blue, yellow. So we want everybody to, we know that you might not get everything you need from your upline. We just want all the cross-line good ideas together, collaborating, and we want for the rising tide to raise all ships so we can all move on to the next level together. So mark this on your calendar. There's also the replay, but it'll help if you can be in person because we will have assignments, homework, accountability for everyone to grow and get better together.
Well, one last event. I know Nikki has a spa party booked for the 25th of this month as well.
Is that posted on Facebook?
I don't know.
Okay. So we'll find a way to get everyone that information as well. But that is our time. We're trying to adhere to the schedule. So I want to thank everyone for being on this evening. Hopefully you found this information beneficial. It helps you in some way, shape, or form. Look forward to seeing everyone next week on next week's call. Until then, go out, follow up with individuals that have been trying to get started for a while. If they've gotten started, follow up, help them get on Essential Rewards.
If they've ever liked any oily post you've had, commented on an oily post, follow up with them. Give them a call.
That is your assignment for this week. So go out and get them, and we'll see everybody next week. Everyone have a good night, all right?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. I don't know how to turn it off.